So I think what you learn functionally, like how to sell, how to manage the build of a product, all that sort of stuff, quickly becomes irrelevant. Also, unless you really do it for 20 years in a very functionally specific way, you're not really a world expert at it. I think a lot of that functional knowledge is pretty limited. I think a lot of the domain expertise, working in the hospitality industry, travel industry, whatever, that fades really quickly. People change, people leave their jobs, the industry change, the dynamics change. Obviously, they have in the travel industry over the last year. I frankly think a lot of that is like completely overrated in terms of the transferability to the investing world. What is somewhat underrated is just the empathy of being in a position where you're trying to start something from nothing, where on any given day, big companies who you want to sell to don't care. They just don't care. They don't need to do anything. They're incumbent. They don't need to buy you a cool new technology product. Where investors just don't care. They don't need to make any investments. They don't need to make, if they do, they don't need to make that many. They just don't need to deploy capital. So you've got to convince them. Employees, potential employees, candidates at big companies who have nice jobs, they don't care about your startup. You have to really convince them. And that's a really tough position to be in every single day, where you're trying to create something from nothing, and you're trying to convince people that have absolutely no incentive to care about your startup that there is a reason they should care about your startup, whether it's to fund it, to buy your product, or to join you in the journey. And knowing what that feels like, I think, is really, really important as an investor, because you can make that feeling worse as an investor, or you can make it better by how you sort of talk through things and having an appreciation of it. And so that's one thing. And then also just the ability to operate under such massive uncertainty. I think that's really important to appreciate for somewhat obvious reasons. It's not possible to know everything at any given time. And as an investor, if you don't appreciate that, you're going to just be annoying someone for answers that they don't have. And that's just going to frustrate everyone.